Have you ever thought about the fact that there are levels to mental toughness? And more importantly, have you thought about what it's like to be a man at the very height, like maximum level of mental toughness? Those are people like Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, the Sahaba, Khalid ibn al-Walid, and in the modern world, we have like Habib Nurmagomedov, we got David Goggins, Muhammad Ali. Think about it, right? If you were even like 25% as mentally tough as these people, imagine how different your life would be. I bet you right now, you would be like a trained fighter doing jiu-jitsu, MMA. You would have way better relationships with everyone around you. On top of that, I bet you'd be making a whole lot of more money. Now, how does this work? If you think about it, the only reason you're not a trained fighter right now, even though you know you want to do it, it is something that every man wants to do. The only reason you're not doing it is because you are embarrassed that you'll go into the gym and you look like an idiot. And that's mental fragility. That's what it is. And the only reason people mess up their relationships with their wives, their family, their parents, it's because they can't control the emotions around them. Like, they'll just be talking and they will know that the best thing to do in that situation is to be reactionless and say this thing. But because they're emotional and they can't control their mentality, they're just going to lash out and be like, well, you this, you that, you this. And that's exactly when relationships get damaged. Why do you think around the world, all relationships are getting messed up? Everybody's getting divorced. Everybody's moving away from their parents. Why do you think that all these men, every single man in the world, will say they want to learn how to fight, but they never join a gym? What do you think that is? It's because everyone's mentally weak. It's not because they're busy. Don't ever buy that BS. Even when you think about something super basic, like for example, you want to get into marriage with a beautiful woman, you need to be mentally tough for that. You know why? Because average Abdul will never go and ask a woman if she wants to marry him. Because he's afraid that he will get rejected and then he'll feel so bad about himself. His self-image, like fakeness he put on, that's going to be destroyed. And he's going to realize that not every woman wants him. So he'll never try. You're probably wondering, okay, Boris, if you're so smart and mentally tough, then how do I get mentally tough? Well, you're probably not thinking that. You probably just think I'm cringe. But funnily enough, I actually know how you can be more mentally tough. Because for a majority of my life, I've been mentally weak as hell, bro. And wallahi, I'm not exaggerating this in any way. I was probably mentally weaker than 99% of people who are going to watch this video. Like, I was literally afraid to leave the house, bro. That's how much of a pussy I was. And so I woke up one day, I literally started doing everything I was afraid of. Obviously, first thing I did, I'll go and join a martial arts gym. And now I'm like, okay, you know what? I thought I would be terrified of this, but this is actually kind of easy. And then I started applying for jobs that were like way over my qualification level. And I got them and I actually did really well on them. But the number one secret to being mentally tough is to simply stop caring what other people are gonna think. What other people at your gym are gonna think. What other people at that job are gonna think when they realize you're not qualified. Once you remove all that, that's when you can start excelling up. Your progress is literally gonna go from this, it's literally gonna go up, bro. I promise you. When it comes to not caring what people think, most people go about it in the dumbest way possible. You're not supposed to obsess over yourself and think you're better than everyone. Why would I care about anyone else when I'm a complete man? Like some feminist. Why would you do that? The way you stop caring about what others think is you care intensely about something else. Like one goal. For example, you might have a goal of living in Dubai one day with your 10 out of 10 wife and making money out of your laptop next to a beach. That might be a whole goal, and you need to make this practical. So you're going to be like, I'm going to wake up, I'm going to, start my online business, I'm going to work on this, I'm going to read this book, I'm going to do this. And if I follow this exact guideline, eventually I'll have to end up here or at least close by. And when you have this in your head 24/7, you're not going to care about what anyone thinks, bro. Like, just because someone is like making fun of you for trying to start an online business, you're gonna be like, well, who cares? Because one day I'm gonna end up here or close to this anyway. So what's happening right now is just temporary. It's nothing to you. The second way to become mentally tough is to change the frame of your mind as you are praying Salah. Every time you pray Salah, you need to think about it as if you are refreshing your goals, putting your priorities in order. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala being at the very top, and then, your goals that are going to benefit the ummah, and then, maybe your physique, and then maybe your family, I don't know. But when you go into praying with this mentality, and you are like standing accountable in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for everything that you are doing in your life right now, this is going to toughen up your mind more than any other practice. All this meditation, yoga, psychology, psychotherapy visits, they're all just cheap imitations of what Salah does for you. Because you need to think about the fact that we are literally designed to worship the Creator. So Allah has designed us in a way where we need some sort of time out, where we are purely focused on the spiritual. And when kuffars found all these imitations, but it all just comes down to Salah, honestly. The third tip on becoming mentally tougher, and this is an extremely important one, you need to learn to spend time alone in your room. The problem with most people these days is simply the fact that they can't spend time by themselves. I think some philosophers said 99% of a man's problems could be solved if he could sit alone in his room. And that is 100% true. Now, you might be thinking, oh, I do this all the time. I sit alone in my room, always. And sometimes, I'll stop using social media for 30 minutes. Oh my God. But you're not doing this right. Bro, when I have free time, I literally just lay down on the floor. And I just empty my mind. Everything is going through my head, and I'm just thinking. And I lay down for ages, like 2 hours, 3 hours. I don't even realize time is going by. But what's happening in this time is all these thoughts that are in the back of your head, they are waiting to be processed, bro. You need to take at least an hour of your day, every single day of the week, to just sit back and just let the thoughts come into your head. You're gonna realize you've always been insecure about something. You're like, this insecurity that, your physique is not as good as someone else, or this insecurity that your mom hates you. I don't know. And then what your brain is going to do is it's going to start processing that when you bring it onto the front of your head. So you take it from your subconscious brain to your conscious brain, and it's going to analyze it. And then you come up with some form of conclusion like, oh yeah, well, my physique might be bad, so I'm going to start working out every day. And then boom, that thought has suddenly left you alone, and that's one less baggage in your head. And suddenly, you're going to be less tired and more happy every single time you go and follow your day-to-day routine. And by doing this every day, you're literally just gonna be happy, bro. Like, you're not gonna need any form of stimulation like food, social media. Those are just distractions for your brain, so it doesn't have to dissect all these things in the back. If you are just happy all the time, you're gonna go into a gym, you're gonna be embarrassed, and you're just gonna be like smiling. You don't care. Because you don't have all these insecurities. What are people thinking about me? How do I fit into society? It's all gonna be gone, bro. The last step to becoming mentally tough is to sort of infuse all the points I made before. Once you have something that you care about intensely, and you're praying your salah properly, and you are able to spend time alone in your room, you're slowly starting to build your own little world. We Muslims can do this very easily because we have this family bond, and we have like common ideologies we can bond over with our friends. So you have this circle, and you choose, this is super important, you have to choose what happens in that circle and who is in that circle. So you might say, I'm only going to be friends with people who have a strong connection to their deen and who are not pussies. So now you have only people like that around you, and maybe you're going to have a certain standard of what sort of a wife you want. And when you have a frame of mind where you have your own mini empire and you only operate in that realm, everything else outside of that realm just becomes irrelevant. Every time you go outside of your field, everything else is just going to be like you're hunting, you get everything you need, and you come back to your community. I don't know if this is making any sense to you. If you're a masculine man with primal feelings, you know exactly what I'm talking about. When you implement everything I'm saying, Now imagine yourself. You go into a martial arts gym and imagine you're like really trash, right? You're getting like taken down, you're getting like double legs, you're getting suplexed, and because you don't really care, you have this end goal in mind. I'm learning something. At least when I'm in my mansion in Dubai, I'm gonna be like somewhat resilient to fighting. At least in the sport that most people will be really embarrassed. You're just gonna be so happy that everyone else is gonna look at you like, who is this guy? He's just smiling when he's getting taken down, and they're automatically gonna start liking you. No one's gonna judge you for it. That's the biggest secret. If you are happy when you're losing, no one's gonna see you as losing, bro. Because they're just gonna be like, well, he's happy, so he must be winning. Because they don't have that much information. They only see the outside. When they see you messing up and you're like getting sad and you're like, they're gonna be like, wow, that guy must be really bad. If you find this message helpful, subscribe to my channel. Join the Muslim Ummah. Everything I make on this channel is designed to help you build that empire that I'm talking about this entire video.